What's up, fam? It's your homeboy Big Mac coming at you straight from the port city, man. Uh, I'm having to redo this video. This is like the fourth or fifth time I've made it. Having some issues, some technical difficulties with trying to use my phone, man. It's run out of space or something. I'm gonna have to get through there and make some space anyway. Um, if you're not a subscriber, man, go ahead subscribe to the channel, man. I ain't got many, but I'm trying to build the little channel up a little bit if I can. So if you would, man, if you feel like supporting, it don't cost nothing to hit that subscribe button or hit that like button. Um, the notification bell. I don't know nobody. You can hit that if you want to, but I don't make videos regularly like that. So, if you hit the notification bell, you might not get notified for a minute, but hit it anyway. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, today I'm gonna talk about the first time I went to prison, the first prison I was at, not counting Noose, which is our classification prison. I'm not gonna count that as a trip to prison. There's a lot of folks that have uh, had such short sentences back in the day um, that they never made it out of classification prison. You know what I'm saying? They never went on to a stationary camp where they were going to do their time at. But this is the time that I did when my first time making it onto a camp. So this took place back in 2007. Um, if you caught my previous videos, of course it was for DUI, so I was a misdemeanor. But I had some violent charges in there too, with resisting arrest and assaulting a peace officer and possession of weapons. So they had me at what they call a observation camp, um, which is the Tyrell Prison Work Farm is the prison I went to. It's about 5.5 hours straight dead north from here, from the port, and that's a drive anyway. I'm sorry, that's not like how the bird flies. That's a drive. That's how long it takes to drive there. So needless to say, I never got a visit the whole time I was there. Um, got some letters though, so I was taken care of that way. But anyway, um, what I wanted to touch on the way to prison. I'm gonna touch on how the prison was set up. It's a big camp. Well, not big camp. It's a medium-sized camp. It has a west wing and then an east wing, and in between is the administration buildings, like where your counselors are and the administration, right? I was put on the east wing. I was in E dorm, okay, and the way it's set up is it's set up like your hand, okay. Each one of these is a dorm, A, B, C, D, E, right? And where your knuckles is the day rooms, okay. Each one of the day rooms was connected by a door. Now back in 2007, that's different than a lot different than it is now. There's a few different things. One thing is it's a cash camp. It was a cash camp. We had cash on hand, in pocket, cash money, just street money. Okay. Um, Also, you could smoke. There was you could smoke through you could buy your cigarettes at the canteen at the store. You could buy Marlboros, Newports. I think they even had Cools. Um, but most everybody bought roll-ups. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was a good day for you, a good week for you, and you hit good on the tables, then you might go buy you a pack of Lacs. The Marlboro 100s or the Newport 100s. Those are called Cadillacs. So if you had to buy one, say you had to buy a lac off the yard, you're gonna pay 50 cents for it. But that was back when you could smoke on the yard. Now for a lac, you're gonna pay $5, $6 for it. But not back then. And we were talking about cash money. We're not talking about going up to someone's bunk and then pulling your shirt down and dropping 20 suits in front of them. I'm talking about walking up to you with a wad of cash in my pocket, flipping it out, how much I owe you, or him flipping it out, how much paying me. Whatever the case may be, it was cash money. Um, Also, another thing, because it was a cash money camp, it was back in the day. Gambling wasn't allowed in the rule book. It was against the rules, but it was tolerated. It was tolerated on our camp. And I think personally it was tolerated for a few different reasons. One, there was no air conditioning. Okay, you had these big industrial fans. There was 4 of them for each dorm area. Each dorm area had 4 of them. You had 2 up here, 2 down here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, just like that in the corners. They were in the corner, just like that. Okay, my bunk was in E dorm. I was all the way at the back, all the way to the exit door, and I slept right underneath the fan. Okay, which a lot of people be like, damn, I don't want to sleep by the fan, you know, it would be loud as hell and blah blah blah. It really was better than sleeping towards the middle. Towards the middle of the block, it was just dead heat. You know what I'm saying? By the time that air blew to you, it had done blown over 20 bodies, and it was hot air. I caught it when it came right off the wall, right out from the outside wall, and it was a little bit cooler. And plus, that fan running gave me that noise, that white noise, you know, that you like to go to sleep to. So and also being right under the fan wasn't blowing directly on me. It was blowing kind of over me. So I caught that breeze from the fan, and I heard the loud noise. So I was able to sleep like a rock, man. I'll be honest with you, I slept like a rock. I had a cool ass bunkie. I ain't gonna say his name. I don't know if he wants it out there. I hadn't spoke to him since I got out, you know, from there way back in '07. So I'm not gonna put his name out there. My neighbors were cool. The neighbors were cool across the way. And it was just like any other dorm setting, you know what I'm saying? You had 2 or 3 guys running store in there. You had guys doing artwork, hustling artwork. There was a couple of guys in each block, man, that, you know, I smoked the roll-ups. You buy a pack of Bugler. It looks like it comes in a cellophane, you know, wrapper, pack, you know, Ziploc, and you get 32 cigarettes out of it. All right, really you get about 34. And if you want them a little smaller, you can get 35. I like mine a little thicker, so I'd get about 33, 34 out of it. Now, you can find a guy in each block. There was at least 1 or 2 guys in each block you could just walk up to with the whole ounce of tobacco and say, here, roll them up for me. And give him a quarter, 25 cents. He'll sit right beside you at the table. Roll it that way, you know you ain't stealing your shit. Roll the whole thing up, and then give it to you. And then you know, of course, you tip him a couple of cigarettes, you know what I'm saying, for his time, whatever. That's just common courtesy, you know. And, you know, that's how things went, man. It was hot as balls. I happened to be there during the summertime. I got there in late May. It wasn't that hot then, but it ended up getting hot because I didn't get out of there till September, out of that prison until September, and moved to another prison. Skipping ahead, and then I'll come back, but it got so hot that literally my last 3 days in that prison, we rioted because the water fountain water was even hot. So we rioted. We tore up. I had got switched to B dorm on the west wing. I got switched to a whole nother wing, and I'll tell you a story about that in a second. But yeah, the water was so hot coming out of the just the drinking fountain, that we just wasn't having it no more, man. So we just tore the whole day room to pieces, man. They had to call in the state cops from wherever they come from up there. Now this camp, Tyrell Prison Work Farm, it's not the farthest north camp in the state. The farthest north camp in the state is between 2 that I know of. It's either Odom or Pasquotank. They're both north of Tyrell Prison Work Farm, and those are both high security facilities. Now, if you're at Odom, or if you're Odom is now minimum security because it's old, but it used to not be. Now, Pasquotank is and probably always will be a high security facility because of how many deaths happen there. Inmate on inmate, inmate on staff, escape attempts, If you go to Google and look up Pasquotank, you'll see, uh, you'll see all kinds of stories. I think it was like 2 years ago, 3 or 4 or 5 convicts ended up killing like 6 staff members because they were trying to escape, and they were trying to escape through medical. They ended up killing the doctor. They killed some nurses. They killed a couple more inmates. Um, they didn't make it out. They got caught or killed. And then, like, not a year after that, there was 3 other inmates trying to escape that worked in the canteen. They set the canteen on fire, killed 2 guards. They killed one in the elevator, and then they killed another one outside on the loading dock. And they tried to get the van and get out of there, but they didn't. They didn't make it. And that was a big story too. And they had to call in the state police to shut down the perimeter, you know what I'm saying, so that nobody could get out of there. And yeah, so there's a lot been going on at Pasquotank. But whenever someone at Pasquotank is getting ready to come home, they don't like to send them home from a very violent, rowdy camp like that. They want them to kind of acclimate them to society. So they want them to go down to minimum security. So they have a camp, Tyrell Prison Work Farm, that they can send them down to medium security. Even if their points aren't low enough to be there, they'll send them down there. If they're within a couple years of going to the house, they'll send them down to minimum security, just to acclimate them to being around more people, having a little more freedom and all that. Try to give them a little bit better chance of staying out whenever they get out. But what happens is you end up sending all these gang members to Tyrell Prison Work Farm, and it just becomes gangland. Like, all the card tables were owned by a certain group. I ain't gonna say who. And if you wanted to run a card table, you had to pay rent to the group to play on the table, or to run the table, to be the house man. You had to pay a certain percentage of what you brought in to them. Which was alright. It wasn't over the top or anything like that. And they also would keep the police off of you, and they had the numbers to, like, if the white shirts were coming, they could pass the word and we could put everything up. A lot of the blue shirts, the regular officers, they didn't care if we gambled. But if you had a lieutenant or captain, or say even the major or warden was coming through, you had to cover up the table, clean the table, and put it up for a minute and let them walk through, because they would say something about it. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, it's a Tyrell Prison Work Farm, and I don't know how it is today. This was 2007 when I was there. It was off the chain. There was fights all the time. It was a medium large sort of size camp. It was 800 men in both wings, 400 to each side. So that puts about 70 men per sleeping area that you have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, they call it a work camp because everyone had a job. I had the worst job in the state of North Carolina that you can have in the prison system. I worked in what's called CWP. That means Community Work Program. Okay, now you can look this up on the internet. My job and the other 11 or however many inmates that was in the van with us every day, our job was to go to this place called the Bob Martin Recreational Equine or whatever Center. And what it is, I ain't never seen one, but what it is, it's in Martin County, and it's this big bullfighting ring. It's like this big bull riding ring where they ride bulls and they ride bucking horses and all that kind of stuff. Well, you would think that would be alright, right? They got a snack bar. They don't give you no snack out of it. You can't even get no hot sauce. You can't even get packs of Texas Pete from them, dude. These people are asshole, country bumpkin asshole people up there. And all they want you to do is go back to the stalls where they keep the horses. There's 140 stalls. Okay, if they had 112 horses that last weekend, or that night before, because they run it 3-4 nights a week. And if they had 112 horses and bulls that night before, you had to go in there with a pitchfork, shovel all that hay out into the hallway there, shovel all that nasty piss covered, shit covered, horse hay, bull hay, whatever it was in them stalls, out into the walkway there, the big hallway where the guy could come through with a bobcat and just scrape it down, right? And then we had to put fresh hay back into the stalls. Now we had to do that until all the stalls were complete. It don't matter how long it took. The faster you did it, the quicker you could get back to camp, get a shower, and get done. Now we're doing this in 105-degree heat, bro. We're in the stall doing this in 105-degree heat. Like, there's many a people, many a times they bucked and said, you know what, fuck this, I quit. Fuck you, I quit. I ain't doing shit. And go sit in the van, and when they get back, they get a write-up. You know what I'm saying? And they may go to the hole. Now, the hole, believe it or not, the hole is a small little building off of the yard that the volleyball court's at. I'll get into the wreck in just a second. Where the volleyball court's at, the hole's there. There was only 8 cells in the hole. The hole is the only place other than administration out of the whole prison that had air conditioning. No air conditioning in the chow hall. No air conditioning in the auditorium was in the administration. It had AC. But other than that, no air conditioning. Motherfuckers was trying to go to the hole, bro. I mean, it was so hot. Let me tell you something. Our clock, there's a clock in each one of the day rooms. Our clock happened to have a temperature, a thermometer on it. Alright, I can remember one time I took a shower when I come in from work. I took a shower. Actually, no, this was a weekend. It was nighttime when I took my shower. It was like maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night, And I went in there, took a shower, come out, and I was in nothing but boxers. And like I said, my bunk was all the way to the back. Before I could walk my stuff all the way back to my bunk, I was already sweating again, bro. Already sweating. So I'm laid up on my bunk, just laid there sweating. And they don't let you sleep on top of the covers. You have to be covered up, at least with a sheet. You can sleep with no shirt and just in your boxers, but you got to be covered up with a sheet. You know what I'm saying? Because there's women that work there and they do the walkthroughs at night. There's a story about a female CEO and I that I'm not gonna tell. Let's just say you've probably heard that kind of story before, and it was worth it. It was a good one. So matter of fact, I'd hook up. If I could see her in the free world, I'd still do my thing, Anyway, back to the camp. The rec yard had 2 weight piles. Okay, it had 4 horseshoe pits, 2 full court basketball courts, a big nice sand volleyball court. I mean, they did alright with their rec stuff. Now the yard was so big because there's, like I said, the east and the west wing, right? Okay, but the yards aren't separated in the back, right? It's not like a west side yard and an east wing yard. There's one big yard that goes all the way around behind the administration, behind everything, goes all the way around the fence and comes all the way back around. I bet if you jog that whole yard all the way around, it was more than a quarter of a mile. More than a quarter of a mile jog all the way around the camp. So yeah, that's where I was at, man. There was a lot of good dudes there. There was some grimy dudes there, and I seen some grimy stuff, man. There was a situation that happened on the gambling table one time where this one big white dude he was renting the table from a certain group, and this dude owed him money, wasn't paying up, and he caught the dude gambling on another guy's table. So he went and jerked him up by his collar and threw him up against the wall. Well, the wall he threw him up against happened to be the wall in between the day room and the shower. So the mop bucket was right there. The actual mop wasn't in it because it hangs in the closet, locked in the closet. But the mop bucket, somebody had left the mop bucket there. So he grabbed the strainer that was in it. He grabbed the strainer by the handle. And dude, I'll say what we called him. I don't know his name. What we called him, I remember his name, and I ain't gonna say it. We called him Big Country. Was walking over to him, and he saw him grab that thing up by the handle. So he turned his left shoulder like that. And dude, little short black guy, big old 6'4", 6'5", 260, solid muscle white dude. This little black guy grabbed that thing and slung it hard as he could, hit him across the back, like behind his lung, the back part of his lung back there, and it rolled him 4 or 5 times on the ground, bro. And then he just stopped. He wasn't knocked out, but he was stopped, and you could hear him. He was wheezing. He couldn't breathe, man. He hit him so hard, that dude was out for the count. Then that dude went and put the thing back up, and then he ran to his bunk, right? Turns out Big Country had a lock and a sock wrapped around his hand, right? He was going to lock the dude. So he was his self-defense. So, but anyway, earlier that day, we had jumped a dude that was going home that evening. See, I was 25 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing youngster shit, man. I was at the beginning of my bid, first bid I ever had. And this dude that we, hung out with every day, he was going home, right? So 3 of us went to his little cut down where he slept. Wasn't in my dorm. We just slid down in there. We swerved over there. And we jumped him. You know what I'm saying? We jumped him. We beat him. Beat him pretty good. We didn't hit him in the face. We didn't hit him hard enough to break nut. We didn't put no boots to him. We were just, youngsters, being youngsters, just body shots, hitting him, because he was going home and we wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And then once he, and then after we hit him, punched him good enough times, you know what I'm saying? We picked him up, dapped him up, congratulations, man, I want to see you back here, blah, 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 all that kind of crap. But the lesson here is, y'all, that I want you to take away is stay away from the gambling, man. Stay away from that. Stay away from the drugs. The drugs there at Tyrell, rampant. It was a cash camp. So you can imagine there's any drug in the book there. I mean, I seen a dude smoking crack out of a Sprite bottle, looked like a weed thing with aluminum foil on top and a match. He'd stick his head in the locker and he was smoking crack like that in prison. I mean, who smokes crack in prison like that, man? That's crazy, man. Seen people shooting up, ODing. And this was before the K2 thing. It was ODing on dope. And so I'm saying, stay away from the drugs, man. Stay away from the gambling debts. You know what I'm saying? Don't take something from someone, man, that's offering it to you, unless it's one of your number ones, your real close road dogs. Don't take nothing from nobody, man. You don't want to be in that field where you feel like you owe somebody something. You know what I'm saying? Or where they feel like they can just come ask you something just because you took something from them. Don't take nothing from nobody. And when I say nothing, I also mean don't take no shit from nobody. Stand up for yourself. Because if you don't, no one else will stand up for you. No one else will stand up for you because you won't stand up for yourself. So how would they know that if something goes down with them, that you'll stand next to them and help them out when you won't even help your own self? So don't let no one disrespect you. Stay away from the card tables. Stay away from the drugs. Don't accept things that you ain't pay for yourself, or that one of your road dogs didn't give you. And don't get in debt, man. Stay away from all things debt related. And then just do your time, man. Work out. Eat healthy. Do some jogging. Work on yourself. Build yourself up. Build some strength up so when you get out, them ladies is ready to, you know what I'm saying, rock with you. You know what I mean? Make that time work for you, man. Make that time work for you, dog, and you'll survive, man. You'll not only survive, you'll thrive. And then take some of those good habits that you form in there and bring them home with you. and continue them. You know what I'm saying? Even when life gets tough, man, because it gets tough for all of us, and it's easy to fall off. I know it. Trust me. I fell off, and I'll come back up, and I fell off again. We all have. But, you know, you fall down so you learn how to pick yourself back up, man. So, you know, stick with the good parts, leave the rest, and God bless, man. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe, spread the word, man. Port City Bad Boy in the house, checking out.